Hi, everybody. It's Courtney Santiago, and I wanted to talk about the community I picked, which is Ashtabula, Ohio. I picked this community because I live here. This is the town and the city I reside in, and I've been here for about 11 years. I did live in a city which is the next city over, but for 11 years I've been here. So I seen this city change over the years. I know about the history. It was once a very busy place, and people did very well here. And then once the factories left, people moved out of the area or they transferred out of the area. So the population changed and it's been declining over the years because of the downfall of employment opportunities. Um, so people will head out of town to gain employment and leave. There's been a big uprising of substance abuse issues lately, and so we have that in our city as well, unfortunately. And then we have a lot of mental health and homeless in the area. So the city has some rundown buildings. However, they are changing. They are tearing down some of the old housing and they're building new businesses. In fact, the city manager is being very proactive and he's brought in a pig iron plant which will be opening and definitely create more jobs here in the especially in the Ashtabula Harbor area. They're they are trying to bring back the use of the mall. The mall was closed down. It was kind of like a ghost town for a little while. Nothing was in there. So now they've brought in, just this past month, they've put in a Planet Fitness. They've also used part of the mall as a university hospital, has put in that urgent care and doctor's offices. And the J.C. Penney's is still there. So they're trying to hang on to, that store, and they're trying to bring in new ones. So our city manager, commissioners, they're all being very proactive and trying to make Ashtabula better again. And of course, we have the tourism. People come in from all over because of our beautiful Lake Erie. And so that, I think they're going to try to harness into some of that to get people to come here and spend money and create jobs and just to make it benefit everybody in the community. So we have many churches. There's probably about 10 churches around here and within a few blocks. Catholic churches, Lutheran, Baptist, Methodist. There's every church you can imagine. They all have food banks because there's a high poverty level. So people in each area of the town have their own church assigned to them to get food. And if by chance they need food on a day their church isn't available, they're able to go to another church, but it's kept track of in a database, so they know that they're not going to each food bank every other day. So let's see. The resources are great. There's two major mental health agencies. I think there's four right in town, actually. They handle therapy, PHP, which is partial hospitalization program. Excuse me. They handle substance abuse, outpatient treatment, inpatient treatment. We also have the hospital, in which one psychiatrist works at a mental health agency, and then he also works at the hospital. So if a client needs to be hospitalized, they are put in a local hospital here, and they're also treated outpatient. So we have lots of resources. The agencies are definitely doing treatment centers now for the drug addiction because it's so prevalent in the area. So that's available to them. And they're staying open later and they're taking walk-ins, which is real important. So, but our population is still declined in the area, and eventually I hope that it, and I think as everybody who lives here, we're just hoping it starts to come back. And like I said, the jobs are coming, so I'm hoping that people will come back and move back into the city. Since, like I said, most people have left or relocated to the outskirts, and they might work in the city, but they're living in like Saybrook or Kingsville, like the outskirts of Ashtabula, because they didn't want to be in town. The community agency that I picked is in town as well. It's Community Counseling Center. I'm familiar with it, but I used to work there myself. So the agency handles mental health, substance abuse, PHP, inpatient, or I'm sorry, not inpatient, outpatient, group therapy. They also have a emergency assistance for anybody who has had a family member who may have committed suicide. So they send out a team of people to handle that, or if they're not, maybe not just suicide, but there was a tragic loss in some way, so they immediately help the individual. They also help men who are and females who are leaving correctional facilities, that are coming back into the community. They help those individuals with looking for shelter, food, places to stay, and helping them become employed, giving them a goal and a path to work at. So they are doing, like I said, the outpatient and the treatment for drug, substance abuse, the Suboxone. They have doctors now available to do that. They also have a pharmacy that is right in the building. And so when people need their medicine, they can go right to the pharmacy. Right after they leave the psychiatrist, they can go fill their medicine. So there's no wait. It's like immediate service. The agency, the social worker I talked to is also does counseling. So a big part of what they do is, as counselors, they link them to people like I was a case manager. So they'll meet with them, they'll talk with them and see, also help them with the mental health, but say, hey, that person might need shelter, they might need food, they might need housing, they might need just any kind of guidance. So the case managers get involved then and help them with all the community resources. The agency itself was developed in the 80s because of the deinstitutionalization of people who were in institutions, and they let them go back or they allowed them to go back in the community. So they had to develop something to help them. They had group homes and things of that sort, but they definitely needed these agencies to be brought about to cover the needs of these individuals. So that's how the agency started. But it's continuing to grow, and they're open late afternoon hours and some evenings, and they have walk-in clinics, so people can walk in. They have emergency assistance available. So directly behind that agency is Job and Family Services. So if they're open during those hours, they can just send them right behind, a block, not even a block away, just a parking lot away to Job and Family Services if they need to. So it's nice that they're located in an area, the Donahoe Center. So right there you have LARC, which is Lake Erie Recovery Center, which is attached to them. So that's another agency that handles substance abuse. So they have that facility. Then they have Job and Family Services. They also have the juvenile court over in that area. So it's real accessible. I think looking at what I thought about human behavior and with the macro and the social environment, I know now that everything affects people in the community. So anything that's made in that top level, like the city manager, the commissioners, the politicians, all of it affects everybody in the community. And the things that people do at a lower level, will affect how policy and things are written at the macro level. So I think it's very important to realize that community members have many different roles and can affect many different lives. Expanding my competence as a social worker. I'm not yet officially a social worker, but I'm working on that. But anything that has to do with the human behavior and environment, it's beneficial to me. The better I understand my community and how people react and think and behave, the better I will be at my job as a social worker. So I think that this course definitely enabled me to see it from a different view. And now when I look at my community, I think of it in terms of what's the value in it. How is this beneficial, and how can this continue to be beneficial to clients and people that I serve? And it teaches me how to have teach other people how to look at the positive and not the negative in the communities. So well, thank you for listening, and everybody enjoy your summer. Bye bye.